So restaurants are struggling to rehire workers due to unprecedented pandemic jobless payments. This is not what I was expecting when you told me there was a job issue. Why don't you break it down for us?
Okay, so reading through these articles, because I've been seeing several of them, and I actually, do you follow Andrew Gruel on Twitter?
I
He's
don't
that
know.
Okay, so he's that chef who was fighting back against, I think he's based in California, and he's just been fighting back against the lockdowns, and he was the first person who I originally saw. I think it was like a month or two ago. He went on like Newsmax or somewhere, and he was basically saying that it's hard for him to hire restaurant workers because no one wants to work for the same amount that they're getting their free unemployment benefits. So
Ah.
he's not able to hire any workers. That was a couple months ago. And now I'm seeing so many articles coming out that are saying that restaurants are struggling to get people to come back to work because they're making just as much or maybe even more money with all of these unemployment benefits, with all of the stimulus checks that were passed out. So we have completely disincentivized people from going back to work. And on top of that, we have so many people that are now spending all of this money. Like, these restaurants are overwhelmed because people have money now that, the government just decided to print that has no real value behind it. They have
Right.
all of this fake money that they're now just flooding into the economy, but no one's working at the same time. So it's just this perfect storm of
It's what they want.
Exactly. They're
It's what
just
they want. They
completely
want everyone
destroying.
on the welfare system. They want everyone that needs the government. We need you to provide for us. I already read the American Creed. I almost feel like I need to read it daily to tell people. And if you like, everyone needs to read it, because we were founded because we wanted to do it ourselves. We wanted to be free to do what we wanted to do. Not have some government overlord be like, you're not allowed to go celebrate your freedom, period. And it's like, whoa, no, that's not what this country is about. Yo, take a step back. He's going to have to take a step back, because that is not okay.
Exactly. And so we're seeing the complete destruction of, and again, too, like, welfare and the welfare state has been so detrimental to our society. And I was, again, just researching this for the first time because of my debate panel, and just going back all the way to the 60s when LBJ passed the welfare state and, like the war on poverty. Since that time frame, poverty rates have either remain stagnant or increased, because when it comes to the welfare state, it does not incentivize people to go to work, to not to be dependent on themselves. It incentivizes them to live off of the government, to take money from the government. And that's why right now we see in Florida, McDonald's paying people $50 just to come in for a job interview, because people won't even come into the interviews. They're like, we have enough money. Like, why would we want to go back and work? Why would we want to work for a living when the government can give us money for free?
That's nuts. And then in some cases, in some areas, single mothers get paid more per kid they have. So they're going out and just having kids and not being with anyone and getting even more money from the government. They actually have incentive to be further from like a structured society, of like the family home. And then you bring in the idea of like a solid family home usually produces solid, upstanding human beings on average. Of course, there's going to be exceptions to those who are going to be like, well, actually, like, no, don't give me that. You guys know it's true. Like a good, solid family, it's proven, that it tends to be better in the long run for the children. And now we've got, the machine pumping out. It's a problem. Joe Biden in the 1994 crime bill was saying it doesn't matter that they might not have like a good family structure. They're criminals, all of them. Like, lock them up.
Woo!
And then once they're locked up, let's take away the fact that, or the ability to even get an education, to keep them locked up and just keep them in the system. Okay, I'm paraphrasing right now. Go look it up yourself if you want to hear what Joe Biden said in the 1994 crime bill. It is ridiculous. And a shame that he is our president right now. I am ashamed of you, Joe Biden. I'll say it proudly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And that's the thing. If you look back historically, a lot of people try to argue that it's racism and it's this or that that has kept people down in
Yeah.
certain communities. But to me, to be quite honest, I feel like it was the government and it's the dependency on the government. And it's this thought process of you're a victim. We're
Yep.
going to take care of you. Do not ever feel like you need to be personally responsible. Don't ever feel like you need to learn how to use money as a tool because that's exactly what it is. And that's why
Yep.
when we throw money at people, they don't know how to use it or how to utilize it because it is a tool that they are not taught how to use. So it doesn't matter, again, too, if you're throwing money into specific communities, it's not going to help because we're not teaching people anything. And again, the ultimate thing that we are teaching them is to be dependent on the government.
You've seen V for Vendetta?
I haven't. I need to watch it because everyone always,
Wait, I'm
I
sorry,
know.
what?
It's been on Netflix. I haven't watched it. I don't really watch TV or movies anymore.
I'm sorry, I just wasn't expecting that. It's one of the better movies that have come out in the past some years.
Mhm.
I without ruining it for you, all right? There's the bad guy, all right? His name is Chancellor Sutler, all right? He's like the supreme ruler of of London or England, whatever. And there's a scene where people are like starting to fight back a little bit, and he's
Mhm.
like he's yelling at his subordinates, the people that do his bidding, and he's like, we need to get out there and remind them why they need us, and he's like yelling at them because and then all of a sudden the news is like the civil war in America's raging, and like volcanoes and more diseases, and everyone's like, can you see this? Like, what is going on with this media? Like, this is nuts. And he's like shoving fear down everyone's throat to remind everyone that they need the government to like control them. And it feels like that's a very I don't know, sharp version of kind of what's going on literally right now in our lives. Like, we're
100%.
seeing it. And of course, the movie is about the government created a virus and also the antidote and released it. And then they made millions and millions of dollars off the antidote to the virus that killed a bunch of people, that then they came in and got control over the land because of it. You should see that movie. That's all I'm going to say, Savannah. I'm talking about V for
Oh
Vendetta,
my
YouTube.
gosh.
I'm talking about a movie. I feel like I have to say that.
Very interesting movie storyline. Very
It's like I got
interesting.
but can you blame me? I have to actually say I am referring to a movie right now. This is a movie, V for Vendetta. It's a movie, V for Vendetta. That's the premise of the movie, not what's actually going on. I'm just saying it's eerie. I'll just say that it's eerie.
And you know what, Adam, too, I've been having these revelations as well in regards to, how people talk about The Matrix, another movie reference where
Yeah,
it's
of
like take the red
course.
pill or the blue pill. I feel like once you do educate yourself on what's going on in the country and how we are manipulated via politicians, media, big tech, take your pick,
Yeah,
uh, it's kind of interesting because you have to either take the red pill at that point or willingly be ignorant, like, hey, put me back into the matrix, just make sure I made a mistake.
that's
So
it.
you have to willingly want to go back into ignorance once you are educated on the reality of what's going on. And it's just kind of crazy to me.
And people, I mean, ignorance is bliss.
I
That's
am.
that's what they say.